Right, and I wasn't talked to either. Like zero warning, zero like, hey, taking me aside, like telling me like they want things to change or they
Or
don't like
what
this or
regarding
that.
me?
Knives had a secret alt account within the server
Hmm.
that Zephyr knew full well about and decided to actively hide it.
On the 8th of June at 1 in the morning, I was attempting to sleep. I didn't know it at the time, but in 1 hour, one of Ross's most highly seen figures and probably one of its most controversial would lose their spot in the mod team, taking forth an investigation that would reveal everything. This video is made into 11 total chapters, 8 being the stuff Zeph was accused of, 1 being random stuff, and then 1 being Hunter's interview, and lastly my conclusion, which you'll find right at this timestamp. It'll start with explaining what Zeph was accused of, then you'll hear Zeph's side of the story, followed by Geo's and Shadow's side of the story, if they have a side of the story. And yeah, I hope you guys liked the video.
Okay, yeah, so false banning. So we'll get into the details. So I've discussed this quite a bit with specifically Shadow, of course, because you know how he is. He genuinely just hates me. We can get on details on why he's genuinely ratty. And regardless of whatever happens to me, I highly, highly advise you, with no direct connection to myself, but rather for your guys' sake, get rid of that scumbag. He is not to be trusted. He is
Is
a total
is
rat.
is Roth Avocat Shadow Avocat?
Yes, yes. Yes, and he is the definition of a manipulator and a liar. So yeah, the first thing was false bans. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. They claim that I have 4 false bans. That's what they claim total ever that they have track of. And then they're like, oh, well, you might have false banned other people that didn't appeal. Okay, I'll get into that. I'll get into that. I can I can blow this out of the water. So let's start with the 4 false bans. They didn't even get into the detail on 2 of them. They only gave me detail on 2 specifically that were Geo. Geo was playing on an alt. Okay. This was 5 months ago. We've had issues with this before where people that are pretty good at the game get on an alt and intentionally try to play weird to get banned. Okay. This happens often.
Yeah, you did
So
that as well, I
yeah, so
remember.
he was on and off, right? And he was playing or whatever, and people were saying he was cheating. I checked him out. I was clipping. Obviously, I always get lots of clips. If you have suspicionable reason to ban, you have viable evidence, and you do your due diligence, and you get plenty of evidence, and then you ban them, and they appeal. That is the process. That is what we go through. If they don't appeal, that's on them. That's not our fault. We don't have time to deal with that. We have we have lives, we have duties, we do it our best, and that's human error. Like that's the best we can get. Okay. I think you all agree with that. It's better to do that and not let someone suspicious running around ruin people's games than to just let them run around and win games, like I said.
Mm.
So again, he was on an alt, and I thought he was very weird. A lot of other people agreed in the game. Here's where it gets more interesting now. He was in our VC, so he had our comms. He knew where we were. He knew what we were saying, what we were doing, what we were planning. So he basically had ESP. He had the equivalent of extra information. So that also added on to the suspicion, right? And then you add on to that that he knows who I am and who my teammates are, we don't know who he is. We think he's some bacon. We don't know. He has the advantage because he's playing his ass off, trying his hardest. We don't know. We're just playing normally, and we're like, okay, yeah, this guy's weird. He knows where we're at. He's probably cheating. He's a bacon account, right? To
Mhm.
take all that into context, I'm not even going to get into the whole ego argument where Shadow and Crayons try to say Geo's the best and shit, even though he's an average player and he knows it. He'll literally say that. So they're weird. But anyway, so with that in mind, 5 months ago, Geo did not appeal those bans. He has appealed other bans where he got banned by people falsely, and I helped him out with that, even though he was on alts, which I don't agree with. I don't like that. I want to talk to him about that. But this has been an issue before with Dyrus and other people. I even got banned by Hunter on an alt once, just for running into Residence 1.0 and getting an ace, and then he completely banned me. Like, it's just, it happens. So their excuses are bullshit. And I have, according to them, only 4 bans that are false in 5 years almost. If that's a reason to fire me, bro, then fucking send me to hell, dude. Like, what the fuck? My ban rate is amazing, and I always have reason. Always have plenty of clips. Always have suspicions, like plenty of reasonable evidence for banning. And then if they come back and they prove that they're not cheating, I unban them. It's that simple. The only person that I've actually quote unquote false banned, or people in general, is ones that I tell to go into the Discord. I ask if they have it first, and if they say yes, I say go into the Discord. You're getting PC checked. Or one time I banned a guy because I thought he was Demon's alt. He was a friend of Demon. He wasn't actually Demon, but you get the idea, right?
How many did he ban? Like in his 5 years
Bans?
here? Yeah, in his 5 years. 'Cause he's been
In his
around.
5 years,
He's been
I
around
don't
for
think
around
it's
five
been
years.
5 years because Discord server itself has been only started up like in 2021, I believe.
Really?
Yeah,
Then
Discord
like
is not
three,
5 years. I
four,
think
4 years, 3 years. He's been around for a
yeah,
bit. He's been
yeah.
around as
So
long as me around.
we have no idea how many people he's false banned, right?
Hmm?
What we just notice is because it's
It's by
impossible to know
itself.
fully. We
Yeah,
just noticed
continue.
that he false bans a lot off of insufficient evidence, right?
Hmm?
So I know we point out full documented confirmed false bans, right? And right, obviously full false bans within 4 years doesn't seem so bad, right? At all.
Not at all. Yeah,
Everybody makes
seems
mistakes.
extremely
But
good.
the problem is we actually don't know how many he's false banned at all. The issue is that those are the ones we've been able to document over the course of like
Hmm?
maybe a few months, right? Maybe
Yeah.
those are when and this is because he's been inactive, right? So if he is active, we assume his false ban rate is quite high.
Likely higher, but then again, if you look at it, I doubt Zeph is gonna ban people falsely, and then if they do an appeal, gonna ban them off the entire server. Because I don't think that's what Zeph does. I think
No, it's
I
just that the appeals is not an excuse in any way for
well,
false banning so often, and I know
yeah, but
Gio agrees with this.
I'd rather, I'm gonna be honest on that point, I'd rather have 100 false bans and one correct ban than like 100 cheaters in the game. Because if you get false banned, you can always appeal. It's not a problem. Again, then there's probably the thing with people being scared about like giving their like if they have to do a PC check. That's probably scary, I'm guessing. Did I continue?
I wouldn't say that they can always just false ban. Sometimes the people playing this game are too young
Younger.
to have a Discord account. They don't have an
Yeah.
account. They don't bother going through the effort. Um, and Hunter himself has says that Hunter's biggest one of his biggest motivations is the false banning that's been happening. And the problem is not only the false bans, it's the way how he carried out the false bans. Because some of the false bans were done just on uh arrogancy, right?
How so?
So I know one case as an example. He decided to and this is coming from Gio. Gio told me about this because I actually wasn't there to witness this firsthand. So you can ask Gio about this. Where Zephyr 1v1 an individual. The individual
Was cheating
wanted
probably, yeah.
no
Or
beat
wasn't?
Zephyr. Was not cheating. No,
Was not cheating,
he
okay.
beat Zephyr in
Hmm?
the 1v1. From what I understand, or he performed very favorably against Zephyr.
Yeah.
And Zephyr thought that he was cheating when Gio says that there was no conclusive proof he was cheating
Hmm.
whatsoever. Right? He really was just beating Zephyr. Zephyr took that as offense and decided to ban him, PC check him. Um,
The PC check do
and
anything or
no, he was not cheating. Gio says
Okay.
that nothing was on the PC check. It took quite a bit of time, wasted the individual's time, and he was not cheating. And there was just not enough reasonable suspicion to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
He really just decided to do that based off the fact that he had, right, just
That
beaten
he
him in a
beat
friendly
him.
way.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
and
get
that is
your point.
quite silly. Yeah, so that's about the false bans. It's not too big of an issue with Zephyr himself because, right, everybody makes mistakes and he hasn't been active to make that many false bans. But with the pattern that has been shown, it shows he's takes personal his personal opinion can of himself,
Can influence his thing. Yeah.
yes, his actions, and quite heavily so. And yeah,
Yes, and this is something I'd like to point out as well. We have been told by Hunter himself, actually Hex has asked, and I have a screenshot of it to provide, that we are not allowed to ban a person unless we are 100% sure.
Hmm.
And this was given to us about 4 months, about 4 months ago now, whenever Hex was still, playing, and, Zeph around this time would have known without a doubt. But we have been told multiple times by Hunter, ever since especially he's lowered the day count for which a brand new account can come in and play because of all these streamers and stuff coming on in, and new people are wanting to always come on into Ross. I mean, Ross was actually, what was it, even into the thousands worth of like
he,
a thousand worth of players
peaked
at
at
one
about
point,
1,000, yeah, 1,200 about it.
which is the highest it's been in a long time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And well, as you will see, actually, let me pull up the screenshot. Actually, Shadow, do you have the screenshot? I sent it to you at one point.
I believe so. Yes, I can
Yeah.
Send that
pick it up.
here because you will see that Hunter has outright pointed to us that we are not to be banning people unless we are 100% sure they are violating some sort of.
Here it is.
We cannot just go off of just straight suspicion. That is something I personally avoid myself.
Hmm.
That's the one you're
Suspicion of
thinking
an
of, right,
account.
Gio?
Yes, suspicion of an account. If I was suspicious of of a person cheating, I would have banned probably so many more people than I have already.
Yeah.
I always personally wait till I'm 100% sure that I've got absolutely everything I need. Now,
Hmm.
this is also something that Zeph himself has kind of, for whatever reason, pointed out, and Shadow was in the VC, that he has said himself that if he is not 100% sure about someone cheating, that he will go ahead and ban them.
Yeah.
And go about seeing if they will appeal whether or not, and he will provide his clips, which I'm not too big of a fan of. Whenever I heard of that, but I also heard of him in the VC, which I do wish I did have all this recorded, which I did not. I literally just got back from literally going out and getting pizza like 20 minutes prior to the VC that we all had in staff discussion.
Hmm.
That he also stated that anytime he does a ban on a player that he thinks is cheating, is that he always will, inside of the chat, private message or just, outright say to that person that they are to appeal inside of the Discord. And I believe he will even provide the reasoning why right there inside of Roblox chat, which you will see within both of these clips. This did not happen either time. And I understand that it is my alternate account that I am playing on at these times, but I will also state both times I'm playing are very casual gameplay, including the one of which I will show you first, which is honestly just, it is kind of bad gameplay at the same time by me, and I will explain as I go through. Greenlight Apollo Run
Yeah.
is the person that's in VC with Zeph, and you will hear Zeph inside this VC.
So you were so you were in the VC with all three of them? Does it say we're
Actually, I
gonna
think there's
heal
like
them?
a total of 4 people. Yes.
That doesn't
Greenlight
matter.
Apollo is the Asifa here. And you could see that Asifa just ran on and absolutely died. I came in from the right side, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna let this play out.
It's Dokkaebi. I think Dokkaebi's cheating.
He's calling me out for
He's
cheating.
just raw dogging me. Whoa, what the fuck? I'm sorry.
Now, keyword, he did say think.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's just a pre-fire. Yeah.
Yes, but this is also something that he considered for cheating now. I literally got a brand new $900 GPU, and I still yet to get the Windows.
Yeah.
But like you will see here that after Apollo said think,
Hmm.
that Zephyr originally stated whenever he was in the VC that if he was to have banned this account, he would have probably had reasonable suspicion beforehand, and that he would have had a clip. This is his defense, anyways.
Yeah.
I could tell you that from Greenlight Apollo, at least this is what it triggers to me, anyways. From Greenlight Apollo saying he thinks I am cheating,
That's
tells
probably
me that
what.
they had no indication beforehand, and that this is what almost triggered the ban, the peer pressure ban, after he dies right here, crouch level. As soon as I finish spraying.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think moderators really should not be banning for that whatsoever.
Hmm.
Yes, and you could hear him say
He is, yeah, you can hear he is a bit annoyed about that, but again, that shouldn't be
And
like something you should stand for.
point out one thing really quick. He is not, and I want to make this clear, he is not primarily at all taken off of the moderation team due to his bans. But I am still displaying them simply because
It's an extra
this,
point to
yes,
why.
it is.
Bias when promoting mods, only making his friends mod even when they are not qualified.
Cool. So let's get into that. First of all, let me point out that every single person who is below me has been selected and approved by me. Everyone, including Shadow. So I don't think that's a valid argument to make, period. But I will get into the details on why it might seem like that, and I will even prove that that's false.
Hmm.
So the reason why I pick people who I tend to know, that's a very important word there, not just friends with, know, is because I can tell if they're a genuinely decent person or not. I value trust and activity over skill or, you know, band percentage or whatever. Like those are great things to have. But if I can't fucking trust you to not abuse your power, if I can't trust you not to cause drama, what fucking good are you worth? You're literally causing more trouble for us. You know what I mean? I'd rather have more false bans than someone running around causing a whole bunch of drama and banning people, trying to cover it up and just, causing divide and shit. So that's that. So obviously people who I know are good people, I'm going to be inclined to pick. That's no like brainer. That's common fucking sense. So yes, people who are my friends are probably to be picked simply because I know I can trust them and they're good picks. Hold on one sec. I'm getting a phone call. Let me check it. Okay. Um, so yeah, so there's that. And then we'll get
Also,
into use. Go ahead.
um, just adding on to that, about Shide, I
Yeah.
still, even to this day, I'm still not too sure about him.
I don't know either, but he hasn't really done anything to piss me off or like
Yeah,
show that he clearly doesn't need to be trusted. So I'm fine with it. Like that's it. That's another example. I don't know the dude. I'm not friends with the dude, but he's doing okay and he's not causing any problems that I know of. So until that's proven, he can stay. I'm chill with that. Same thing goes with Geo. Geo apparently felt that he got promoted just because he was my friend. That is not the case. I don't hardly know the guy. He's not one of my close friends. I hang out with him. I know him somewhat. I have a little bit of a history with him, but he is not in my inner circle whatsoever. I don't spend that much time with him at all, if any, especially lately for the last few months. I hired him and put him into the position he's in because I know he is adequate. I know he is hardworking. I know he is smart, and I know he's good for the job. Same with Lumi. Lumi can advocate. I don't really know you. Like, I'm not like buddies with you, but we're
yeah.
friends, right? And I know that you're good at what you do and that you're valuable in the position you're in. I can literally say this for anyone I've picked. The only really close friend I've picked is Heck, and that's because I know I can trust Hex with my fucking life, and that they will never do anything wrong on purpose, and all they can do is grow from this experience to learn how to be better at it. So like, I don't understand the hate on that.
So,
Um,
just for clarification, did Gio say that he got promoted to senior just because?
he thought so. Well, maybe not promoted, but picked for mod at least. That we can clarify on that later. But either way, same implication, right?
Yeah.
And then as far as Goose goes, which is the most controversial mod, just because of the false bans of if you're trying to dick ride, which is easily fixed, just unban the motherfuckers. It's not that deep, bro. But they think that I'm friends with him. Dude, you go to my DMs with him, I literally have hardly any fucking talks with him. I met him like a few months ago in Maximilian, and he seemed pretty chill. He seemed like he knew what he was talking about. He was interested in Ross. He was active. Seemed like a cool guy. I'm like, fuck it, get a chance. I think he asked me or he applied or he was curious or something, and I'm like, yeah, sure, fuck it. So like, whatever. And I don't even just do this off of a whim either. I literally ask everyone for opinions on these people, and I ask them like I have to go through Hunter. He has to approve it. So like it's not just like I'm doing this willy nilly, however I want, whenever I want. This is bullshit. Are you guys satisfied with that response to their bullshit statement?
It's like Trump. Trump also likes loyal. He likes
Yes.
loyal people over people who can actually do their job correctly.
Exactly.
Is that really a bad reason? No. Should he have been smacked a bit and told, hey, Seth, I know that those are your friends, but you should probably get people that are more qualified.
Yes.
Yes,
Really
probably.
quickly.
Hmm?
Really quickly. That I know you mentioned situations that had happened ages ago, right? That
Yeah.
is something.
But then the
Yeah.
question is again, are they his friends before they join the community or while they are? Because I don't. Well, you're a mod. You weren't his friend, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
He
No, I was
just
not.
sorta. You just
Actually,
sorta became mod because you sorta were a snitch. Let's say you were like
yes.
double aging, yeah, that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Which proves that he has a sort of bias because he got you in, even though let's say, well, you weren't really doing any mod stuff before. I think this is your first mod position.
yeah, this is my first mod position, but
Gonna
what
start
had happened
somewhere.
there is, yeah, the thing is that whatchamacallit, Geo
Oh shit.
when he was going through demoting the mods, because you're right, at that time I had not had a previous mod position, and it really was just because I had defended Zephyr and helped the community in that way.
Yeah.
Before that though, I had been a helper, and Geo had been showing me the ropes
Okay.
on certain moderation activities, um, because I was starting to go closer to Geo, which is why I reached out to him first, even before
Hmm.
Zephyr. Before that, like Geo, he himself feels like he was promoted just because he was friends with Zephyr. And he said that multiple times, and everybody after that, he was promoted far before Ross, right? I mean before they met Zephyr and Ross. Hex had been friends with Zephyr for a quite quite a few number of years they before Ross, right? Um, and they even worked on OCD together. Same thing with Goose, and all of these are people who had been relatively inactive, right,
Hmm.
before being appointed moderator, and had shown no interest in being moderator, no qualifications, right? A lot of them came back just to be moderator because they had been inactive. They were friends of Zephyr. They joined the server maybe a few years ago, played a bit, and had stopped playing it, right? The only exception to this, I believe, is Sammy. I do believe Zephyr met Sammy through the Ross Discord. I do believe so. But I'm not certain, and they were most certainly friends. And on top of that, I think the more important issue is this bias is selecting friendship over qualification, right?
Hmm.
Because it's very clear that all three of these mods were unqualified for moderation.
Make this quick though. Now, when it does come to, I'd say, would bias be the proper word for it?
Well,
Whenever it comes to Zeph, whenever he's appointing moderators,
I
or
guess yes. I think bias is the right word for that. Yeah.
and whenever he goes about, keeping some information away.
Hmm.
Two things I'd like to point out is while he tries to defend this, all the people that he has appointed moderators so far are also people who did agree and were on his side for the most part after the old situation that happened
The knife
in
stuff?
the knives.
Yeah.
Yes. And another thing I'd like to point out is that two of those people that were eventually modded, well, they went through the trial mod phase. They obviously had a big issue. You know of one of them with them sending some very weird stuff to, I think it was 16-year-old.
Failure to discipline. The friends who he has appointed to mod has also banned several dozens of innocent players with no proof, and he has failed to correct it, going as far as offended.
Okay, I would like more detail on that later. We can get into that one later because that one requires a little bit more digging, I would say. I don't want vague statements from them. I want specific cases. I want them to prove what they're saying because I know it's a lie. And they're most likely just cherry picking.
I think it's more about
So,
the not smacking, well, not smacking probably, not giving them a smack when they like false ban somebody and say, hey, this is how you can
yeah,
better false ban
we can
people.
address that, but that's the thing. They never brought it up. They're just like, oh, this is a reason to get rid of him. Let's just compile all these reasons that we've never talked to each other about or anything and just dogpile him with all this shit and just overwhelm him and get him banned quickly without any consultation, any discussion. Just get him out of here, right? It's very clear that this was rushed and this was put together poorly and it's gonna fall back on them.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
I see.
all those people, we already knew Nasmian was way too unqualified for the position that he was given. We still know, we will still never understand why he was given that position ever in the first place.
Yeah.
But
Especially
another
because
example,
he also proved he was very inept. I mean, he was whatchamacallit, like kicking people out of ranked matches to try and
yeah,
like
he was
equal
doing
the
some bad
teams.
stuff.
Yeah,
He was
that's
doing, like,
stupid. That's definitely not something
really,
you should be doing.
yeah, abusing of his mod
And
abilities, and he
his
never
comments
recorded
were
proof.
horrible.
Yeah.
He would take.
And
He got timed out every
consistently
day for saying
denied.
the N word.
Yeah, he
Oh,
literally would
great.
almost get timed out every other day. And he was allowed to stay on the moderation team until, I think, literally until the whole situation with the 16-year-old happened. But Jay is another example. Still will never understand why Jay, other than him being a friend of Zeph, was ever appointed moderator.
Trump mod
Yeah, trauma.
Hmm.
And he stood on that position
for a
for a
very
long
concerning
time.
amount of time. People
Yeah.
thought he was actually gonna get mod, even though he never did
Who
anything.
who again?
He didn't even
What?
Jay.
J underscore M80 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
no
obviously
clue
the-
about that. You might
Yeah.
need to.
He was
don't-
put in there in a very long time. He should have never been in that
yes.
position.
That
This
reminds
was
me a bit
around
of
the
someone.
time whenever Shadow and Hex and them were all appointed. Still would never understand why that guy was ever appointed, other than whenever the whole knife situation happened and he was on his side, on Zeph's side. But I think he also had some mixed decisions as well, which were also probably a reason why he was taken off eventually, other than his sheer inability to, keep the positioning that he was given as a
He
trial
didn't. He
mod.
never checked in on one report that entire time.
Yeah, he was absolutely horrible, simply put. As I was saying, whenever it comes to his inability to lead the moderation team and actually take action when proper, I have sent you, I hope,
I think,
perfect examples.
yeah, probably. I'll have.
Mostly regarding, I'd say, a person like Goose. Now, I have brought up to him in VC, and he can state this as well. I have also brought this up to other people of, a time whenever Hex was making some issues, but obviously Hex hasn't been around to really do anything. For like the last 3 months, probably.
Yeah,
4 months.
it's been a while.
They've been really inactive. That's one reason why Hex has been actually taken off, because they have only popped in maybe like once or twice within the last 4 months. So I just felt it was absolutely proper that we go ahead and get them up and off. There was no reason to keep them around. at all. They don't even come on in to do absolutely anything at all. They were there for like maybe a month or two upon being stated into the moderation team, and that was it. But whenever it comes to his inability to moderate people like Goose, I have brought this up to him multiple times, and I did see him at one point, I think, even try to state that it should not have to be that. No, I think he was talking about how I should have gone about getting another person that is a higher up than even him, I'd say. I think that's what he was trying
No,
to
no,
point
he
out.
he was trying to say that you should have like come to a date and time with him to when to talk with Goose. That's what he was trying to say.
Talk
Which
with Goose. Now, here's the issue
yes,
I have with this, and I can prove this as well. Goose is not really a person that tends to listen to people very well.
no,
He, for example, very, very recently, was even promoting cheating servers with using the tags feature. I don't know if you know, but whenever a person has a tag on them from a very specific server, it does directly link you the ability to join that server. And
Hmm.
he did this for two different cheating servers, this being Xeno and Hydrogen. He was asked by me, and I think even by others,
by
to
me
have
as well.
taken. Yes, he was asked to take this off. Now, Zeph, for whatever reason, allowed him, and
Hmm.
I
He
don't
actually
know why.
defended it in DMs, by the way.
Yeah,
Zeph
and
said
there,
that it was good for the raw server to be promoting other cheating servers. I kid you not. I don't know what he
Good.
was thinking.
What? Yeah, that sounds
yeah,
more like a brain aneurysm than anything
Yes,
really.
yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but I did go about absolutely telling Goose this is not acceptable. We're going to have this taken off. Another person that was doing it as well at the time, that
was
even
red.
caused a stink in Lumi's DMs about this, was
Hmm.
Red, obviously.
Big thing is probably the lack of loyalty, the stuff with promoting Nightfall a bit, the whole
Okay.
that
So
situation.
are they saying I promoted it?
Well, they in the list it says promoting games very similar to Ross.
Okay, so that's another bullshit pull out of their ass, right? I don't promote things. I just share things that I think are cool. I've literally shared like the most obscure, random dead games that have had 0 players for years for people to hop on and just have a game night with.
Hmm.
And I can probably find examples very easily of that, but it has nothing to do with advertising or stealing players or making profit. I still support Ross. I always have. That's the whole fucking reason I'm fighting this so hard, and I have a long, extensive, and deep history to prove it.
Yeah, I think the only thing I've seen, I think it was if I should see it, I think it was Felipe who was talking about it, that you apparently uh defended it
Yeah.
in his DMs or something. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. So we need to talk to Felipe about that too then. Because I'm not defending it in quotation marks. I'm doing what's right. Hunter is abusing his power and peeking on a new game and a new dev. Like, that's fucked up.
Hmm. Oh, can't really hear you. Yeah, I think your mic is having problems.
Oh, you good?
Now we can hear.
I was just saying, I'm not defending the game. I'm doing what's right. Like, Hunter was abusing his power to pick on a new game and dev just to abuse it and get rid of it. It's fucked up. I give feedback. I tell Felipe what needs to happen. I balance the guns. I give suggestions for operator speed. I balance sound and operator stats. Like, I can do way more, but it just becomes a problem whenever me and Felipe disagree a bit or have miscommunication or Hunter wants to butt in and be like, absolutely not, you're retarded. Like,
Ross in general, and how I personally would believe that a person like him would want to push for the better for Ross. And I do. There was a point of time whenever he did like a lot of the things that Ross was doing, but just like he just out of the blue, whenever either his game OCD, I mean OSA, um was starting to do a little bit better inside of its development, especially around the time whenever they re-released a map named Metro, which, I mean, personally does look great, and they started doing some rebalancing changes and whatnot. He did kind of, change his tone, and he did start back up on bad mouthing Ross, and then it just kind of continued from there. Now, it's not like he's been promoting Ross. I mean, the OSA thing the entire time or anything. He kind of just like slips it in there, like here and there.
Yeah,
talking
and
about it.
though to be honest, OSA is, or OCD, I think it is
Yeah.
sort of dead. No one really plays
Yeah,
it.
It is. I mean, I do know at one point in time it was pretty popular for what it was. I do believe so, anyways. At least from the videos I've seen. But anymore, no. I just don't see the reasoning as to. I mean, I can obviously see the reasoning why he's trying to promote it, because it's a game that he works with big time. I'm pretty sure he is the main developer for it right now. Technically, anyways. But then, obviously recently with the whole Nightfall situation that was like what, maybe 10 or probably a lot more days ago than that. Ever since he got, a position within it, he has been basically absolutely bad mouthing it. I mean bad mouthing Ross and just promoting Nightfall in any sort of way, I'd say. Now, and he's even gone as far as, even though Hntr has literally blacklisted the word, and I do still find it a little silly, but I also see the reason why Hntr did blacklist the word Nightfall and like one other version of Nightfall is due to the sheer promoting of it recently. And obviously Hntr was not liking that, and everybody was asked to stop with that, and obviously the bot was made to block the word. He did still go about bypassing the word. Him
Yeah.
and his other people kept on doing it. I still do understand it. It is still a goofy, silly thing to do so.
Definitely.
But to still outrule it by just absolutely bypassing it consistently, I was not a big fan of. I mean, I myself, with me doing the developer stuff for whenever it comes to building for Nightfall, I'm not just going to go around and absolutely promoting it 24/7. Especially not as crazy as Red was doing in people's DMs recently, which is the reason why Red was banned from the Discord, as he was absolutely spamming it in people's DMs big time.
'Disrespect to authority', going as far as berating Hntr over his
Cool. Yeah. So you were there. Was I disrespectful?
No, really. It was just talking, but
Not at all.
again,
I literally told him.
yeah.
Yeah, I literally told him. I'm literally told him, bro. Like, I'm telling you
Sorry.
this because you need to hear it, heart to heart. What?
Sorry to interrupt, but since this last part doesn't regard me and I have to go do something else, I'm
You're
gonna hop out.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you
Thank
later.
Yeah, I
Hey.
literally told him heart to heart, like, bro, like you need to hear this. And I've told him this before too. Like I've told him in the past, I don't think you deserve to be in the position you're in, and I don't think devs deserve to be the overlords.
Yeah, I agree on the second thing, that the devs should probably
Which has been proven in the past.
stay devs and like we take care of
Yep.
moderation.
He should be a dev. That's it. And maybe he can have mod if he really wants it, but I still don't think he deserves that even. He's been, dude, even recently he's broken rules. Like,
Six is consistent sexual comments and influencing other to do the same within general chat, which, to be honest, yes, you've been doing, but I think you
in
see
the
it.
past,
Yeah,
since we've done corrective measures, absolutely fucking not.
yeah, you see it, I think, more as a joke, but again, it's a Roblox thing. I can assure you there's not only 13 plus people on our Discord, there's probably a lot
There's a
on
lot
there.
of adults.
Not a lot of adults and a lot of children.
And again, a lot of these people also, even the children, are extremely sexual and weird to the point. Like I make jokes and I have my boundaries that are logical.
Mm.
Some of these people are weird and like weird and freaky as fuck, like to the point where it's just like hell no. But either way, regardless of my personal limits, I'm following what it's supposed to be. And that's how I've been doing it. I've literally been upholding it better than anyone else. And I could probably show track records of that. But like even some people know. Like there was a gift in general earlier of a girl was like she wasn't naked or anything, but like she was clearly in a suggestive pose or something. And one of the people said like if he was still there, he would have muted for that.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I couldn't delete it because I was eating. Well, I could have deleted it, but I was eating at the time and I thought Lumi had it because he
You
responded
know what
to
I'm
it.
talking about, Dan. Yeah, you're good.
Again, that's like, it's the community has gone weird. It's went from like a bit of weirdness to full-on weirdness, and I think I'll probably have a talk about trying to keep it at least a bit PG.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
again, if you try to just close down on it completely, it becomes a problem. But if you have a little bit of wiggle room and you don't just 1984, 1984, whatever the fuck it's called, you don't just go cracking down on it. It's better because again, just like what he did with Nightfall, you try and just like completely you put the fire out. You're basically pouring gasoline on it because people are gonna fight it. It's gonna make it worse.
yeah.
So yeah,
The entire
there's an acceptable wiggle room. There's a little bit of gray area, and I operate in that sometimes when I'm feeling like making funny jokes or being funny and playing with people. But I have completely 180'd on my general behavior with everyone, everywhere, because I understand that I'm getting older and it's looking worse, and I need to change how I behave because that's just how it is. Like I don't have a choice at this point. Like it's just part of growing up, and I finally see that, and I've accepted that. Like I need to maintain my image and
Oh, you're cutting off. Oh,
think about what they think about me is what they see. So I have to lead by example, especially with the position I'm in or was in.
yeah. I couldn't hear part of your thing. You cut off for a second.
That I mean, it's basically just like I've learned that I need to change because of my uh like the fact that I'm getting older, right? Uh, I worded it pretty well, and it sucks that I have to rephrase it, but I'll give you a TLDR on it. Basically, uh, I know that because of what's happened and the self-reflection I've had, I've learned lessons. Like I need to grow up. I need to mature, like mentally, with how I behave and my jokes and stuff, and how I interact with people. Not just because of my age as well, but also because of the role that I was in, and how I'm serving or I'm leading by example, right? So I know what I am, but it doesn't matter if I know that I'm not, pedo or whatever the fuck, because people see what they see and they're gonna translate that however they want. So the only way to avoid that is to be like a perfect role model. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Don't give them ammunition to, turn into accusations and shit, right? Like I've learned, I've improved, I've grown, matured in character.
Yeah. Gio, can you talk about this? Because I know that that's something you have a big problem with. Just the amount of sexual content, and he influences others to say sexual things. And I admit he's definitely influenced me. Um,
Well,
Gio, do you want to say
I will
anything about?
note I will note really quick. When it comes to these kinds of comments and stuff that he tends to make, this isn't always done instead of just general chat or like some sort of you know text channel area. He usually does it in VC a lot, and he tends to do it around a lot of people.
A lot
And
of
it is
minors.
yeah, and he tends to also do this around people that have asked him before to stop and they don't want to hear it.
Mm.
I, for example, is an outright example of a person that I don't want to be hearing this kind of stuff. I just don't. I'm not a person that's into any of that whatsoever.
Yep,
I
yep,
have
yep.
asked plenty of times before,
Yeah, that's
but
not
I just
great.
yeah. Now, of course, though, I do I mean, I get it. He is technically allowed to make these jokes with me. I am 19. I was 18 most of the time whenever he was, but it's still the fact that I did ask. The stuff did not stop, and who knows how many times he's been doing this with other people.
they were gonna lock down the server more and be stricter with the application of rules. And he
Yeah.
still continued making very sexual jokes. I know
At
this
some
isn't the
point,
video.
I remember at some point I got messages about it. I told Zeph, hey, gotta stop that stuff, and I personally haven't noticed since I talked to him about it. I have personally not noticed any sexual messages. Of course, I haven't been like
Yeah,
active every day. I have looked at the server from time to time, but like I said, haven't been watching the server every day. Keeping important information about the Discord hidden from moderators and developers. No clue what that means. I don't even think they.
I genuinely don't know either. That's
I
a good
don't-
one. I don't know what that means.
The whole minor thing with like underage people, because I don't 100% remember, but before knives there was another situation, wasn't there?
People were accusing me of probably being weird with Sammy,
Mm,
which if you want, you can just talk to Sammy straight up and get info from her. I'd be
sure.
fine with that. She could be my testimony on that.
I
So it
can
was
see if I
Sammy.
can get her,
Yeah,
but
and then who else? I think there may have been another one, but I don't remember. Probably just a joke or something. I don't remember. I think that was the. There might have been one more, but if it was, it's so insignificant. I don't fucking remember. Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. So there's examples I can give you of like people that I can show you in DMs and shit, probably that were minors and that were trying to like unironically. There's one that I could show you that was not even trying to bait, like dead ass wanted me in quotation marks, like 15-year-old femboy, right? I'm like, I do want nothing to do with that. I'm not gonna say I couldn't if I didn't want to. I'm not gonna say that, but I'm gonna say that I'm not into minors. That is stupid.
yeah.
And the only reason that, like, again, I could get into the details with knives, but the only reason that happened in a TLDR summary is because not because I was interested in her romantically, because I even have like proof, and she would confirm this, that I told her I'm not interested in any like dating or anything, right?
Mhm.
Maybe in the future, I told her that was my words. That was basically a way to like let her down gently because I didn't actually mean that. I knew that it wasn't going to work out. Like I have experience with people that have mental problems, and I'd rather meet someone closer to my age in real life who has more beliefs to me. And I know things about her that would make me and her completely incompatible, just relationship wise. Like I could give you some hella tea that would completely shatter that for me. Just for you to know, like that doesn't, it's not going to work. But even if that wasn't the case, that wouldn't be a thought. It wouldn't matter. But regardless, that all that information came after I had already told her that I wasn't interested in that. So that is a point. Okay. Um, the only reason it happened though was because I was there for her. I was nice to her. I listened to her. I spent time with her when I could. And she saw that as something that no one else does for her or has done. And she has trust issues. And she saw me as someone that is genuine and real and caring. And she quickly fell head over heels for me. And whenever she flirted, I would flirt back
Yeah.
like innocently, right? It's nothing sexual, like directly, like, oh yeah, I want to do this, or I'm going to come do this, or we need to meet up, or I'm, stuff like that. It was always just harmless little stupid shit. And I agree, it was inappropriate, yes. But that is not the same thing. Like people can make mistakes and do stuff and be like, fuck, I did something dumb. But that is not the same thing as it being a pedophile. I made a mistake and I accept that and I've matured, I've grown from that. I'm never going to do that stupid shit again.
Mhm.
But the point is, it's not the same thing as what people are trying to make it out to be. So it's like, okay, cool. You want to give me a side eye for doing that once. Like people don't make mistakes and I can't like grow out of that. But calling me a pedo, bro, that's literally slander. Like you can get in huge trouble for that and you should be punished for that.
Yeah, definitely.
I know you did an investigation into Zeph and knives, right? And
Yeah.
you concluded it was weird, but it wasn't
It was,
illegal and
yeah,
it was fine.
if there was no sexual stuff going on except them
What?
like flirting, which like again, it was
Okay, well-
Zeph said it was jokes, but then I like told him, hey, cool, it's jokes, but in the future, don't do that shit with someone you know is like, I think she was 15 at the time.
She was 17 and 16. depending on
Okay.
the course.
Yeah, and I told him, hey, just don't do that with children.
Yeah. Okay. Well, really quickly.
Also, he said
I
so.
know
Yeah.
is that I mean it was quasi sexual. I mean he was
I saw
telling
I
people-
saw the
you
stuff.
saw
We
that,
both
right?
saw
Wait,
it, but like it wasn't like him sent because we had this situation before. I'm not gonna tell who, but we had one of the mods. Because there's so many mods now that got demoted, so probably I hope you don't know who. That there was a mod who was sending like sexual pictures to 16-year-olds.
Yes. I mean he did tell the 17-year-old that sex felt good. So
Yeah.
if that's what and that
Yeah.
she should try to have sex. So I
Yeah.
do think that was pretty
That
sexual.
was
And-
sexual, but in the sense that no, he didn't send any lewd stuff. At least I don't know. Maybe Knives is hiding
Yeah.
like that. He was sending her dick
Mhm.
pics or something, but I seriously doubt
Yeah.
that.
But-
The messaging was sexual. There wasn't any sexting. I would say the whole what you just said with sex feels good. You should try it sometimes. Sounds like a
Yeah.
joke, and I don't think Seth was implying that she should have sex
Well-
with him.
Oh yes, I don't think he was implying she should have sex with him, but I do think it was not a joke. He went on about that for quite a while.
Quite a bit, yes. But
Yeah. So about that entire thing, there was some members that felt he should have been demoted. Most importantly, Felipe. Right?
Did he?
Felipe, yes.
To my
Felipe
to my knowledge, Filippo didn't really care. I think I even texted him about it. And he didn't answer,
no.
which normally doesn't really mean anything with Filippo. But yeah,
Yeah, Felipe said he doesn't know if it's true or not. Well, this is what he told me, right? Because I asked Felipe because I know Zephyr likes to say this was I don't know a coup, but we reached out to everybody, right? So Felipe, I asked him if he wanted to discuss something related to the moderation team with me and Hntr. He said he would be fine. I asked him if he wanted to do VC or text. He said he prefers text. I can share these GMs. I just said.
Is that from Zeph's own DMs? I can point this out too.
yeah.
Is even Towers knows. He apparently. I'm assuming that he told. It's either Towers told Zeph, or Zeph told Towers of this. But for a good while now, an account named iBuns or iFunds, which is
I what?
iFunds being this very account right here. This account is Knives' alternate account, and this account was inside the Discord for a while.
Show it again. It wasn't in for a millisecond.
I just banned it yesterday.
iFunds.
And my excuse for banning it was they made fun of my list, right? Because they didn't want to publicly state that we knew this was a Knives all account. So if you get complaints about that, about me mod abusing for people making fun of my
Yes.
speech impediment, that's the joke. Yes.
Yeah. You've got that
I-
very weird Uwu voice. I can hear that.
Okay.
I literally outright pointed this out to Zeph, and I tried asking about this. Actually, this was almost directly below the situation with the other thing, and he basically stated that Knives doesn't know that he knows that it's her alt, and
Okay.
that he was just going to be watching her to see if she did anything dumb.
Again, Damon is like a whole other story where Steph also sort of
Yes.
fucked up. You could have taken that. That might have been the best example of like a Steph fuck up.
I was gonna bring that up earlier.
Exactly.
Him knowing about
Demon
Demon
was.
cheating.
Well,
And
I don't know if he knew about Demon cheating, but everyone suspected on him, and he was being such a nuisance about it as well.
Zeph had a literal clip of Demon cheating on BRM 5.
guess I'll just start with a brief overview before you ask me questions. So this all really started out like a month ago, with Naza, because he came to me, and he was coming to me about stuff that happened a long time ago, but basically he was just bringing up how like he saw some of the messages that Zephyr sent a long time ago, and he said like even now he still doesn't really feel comfortable with him being in a position of power on this project, which I understood, but I didn't really do anything about it. I just kind of put it off to the side. But it stayed in the back of my head. And then, like I said, that was about a month ago. So soon after that, I had more people coming to me about stuff. These other people being um, people like Shadow and Geo and everybody. And we're just kind of having a conversation about how these moderators that Zephyr hired, I don't remember their exact names. I'm not really a moderator, so I'm not involved in all that, but they're in the announcement. These moderators that he hired, how they're not exactly performing as well as we'd wanted them to. And I was aware of this for a long time. I would constantly be sending, you know, reminders or whatever you want to call them, requests even in the moderator chat to tell people that they really should be having like 100% evidence, without a doubt that, yeah, I would send those like weekly pretty much because I knew that false bans were going on. And yet again, I keep hearing stories from both the community and from people like Shadow and Geo and Lumi that these false bans are still happening. Apparently, these moderators were even banning like Geo and stuff on alt accounts. Obviously Geo's not cheating. Anyways, apparently it was just a very serious problem. So that was the first like initial reason that I started looking into this, is because as a senior moderator, Zephyr really should have been in charge of them and monitoring their bans. And from what I understand, he just wasn't, and he wasn't doing a good job at it. So I don't even know what I wanted to do, but I wanted to look into it more. So as we started to look into it, that's when this whole Nightfall situation came up, and this just became a huge problem. Really, this Nightfall thing came out, and then it was just causing all sorts of drama in the community. And I still don't really know like the full extent of this because I'm not involved in the Nightfall community and I don't really care for Nightfall. But somehow this game was disseminating information throughout our community. Whether it was in our main server or in community servers, but we'll get to that too. But yeah, so this game was somehow disseminating information somewhere within our community, and it was causing these people to literally go crazy. I mean, like, I don't even think of Nightfall as a competitor. I'm not worried about them. I'll explain that some more in a minute, but like these people were just pissing me off so much, just literally spamming Nightfall, talking about it so much, and like just literally causing drama and like inciting problems over this stupid game. I'm not trying to shut it down. I was just trying to get people to stop. So that's why I banned the guy, because I knew that it was being spread throughout the community. And that's why I blocked the word. Because again, we don't need drama in the community. We've already had plenty of drama. So after I do that, that's when Zephyr starts to get mad at me. And he like called, I think you were there, I don't remember, but yeah, he called me into that private call. And he was all mad at me. I was like, I don't even understand why. And at this point, I had no idea Zephyr's involvement in this, and I was so kind of misunderstood when he was getting mad at me. I didn't understand why he was frustrated with my actions regarding another creator and another game. But essentially he told me I'm very immature and that I did not deserve to be the creative director of this community or a member of power in any capacity, which is like, I didn't say anything directly, but I was pretty sure that that was kind of out of line for him to say, especially with his own history. But I took that information and I didn't immediately do anything about it, but it kind of showed me that he might have some problems regarding, you know, the way he feels about this community. So that's really when we started to do the full investigation, is after he told me that, because I was kind of taken aback. I didn't understand. So that's when we, because these people were literally starting a revolution. I mean, you can still see it, like this whole what do you call it? Uh like anti-ROS thing. What is it called? Oh, stand against ROS. Yes, dude. They were literally spamming that. Like, that's why I had to do that. They were like, come to Nightfall. Take down ROS. Stand against ROS. Like, dude, we're not having that. So that's why I had to block it. Yeah. I don't think blocking it is even that bad. I mean, it's people still talk about it. I don't block the bypasses. No, people got banned. I'll get to that too, but people got banned for that, like I said, that profile picture, the stand against ROS thing. We're literally, all we're trying to do right now is control the drama and prevent this from becoming any more than it already is. But yeah, so where was I? We just started looking into Zephyr and everything immediately after he said what he said to me. And we realized, I guess he's like yes, he's a part of this project, or I don't even know. I don't know. I think he's, well, for Nightfall. For Nightfall. Yeah, he did a little bit of balancing for ROS, but I mean for Nightfall, we realized he's like a member of this project, which is like, I mean, I don't know. It's a little iffy the way I feel about him being a part of ROS and Nightfall, but I guess it's fine. Yeah. Um, yeah. I don't even know, where was I? Yeah, so we discovered he's a staff on this project. Um, and that was a little concerning, but I guess I was fine with it. Um, what else? I don't really. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to like, this is a little bit a while ago. I'm trying to remember exactly the story of events. So yeah, we found out he was working on this project, and I was fine with that because I'm not going to restrict him from working on one project. Although this was like, it was a small concern of mine because it's always been something he's done. He's always working on something else, and he's never really dedicated to the Operation Siege community. Um, like, he had his OSA game, uh, and like, you know, he's always working on some other project that, you know, I wouldn't say that yeah, he's not committed or loyal. Yeah. That's just a small concern of mine, but there's, like I said, we all know there's much bigger concerns that outweigh that, and those are the reasons for his removal. Um, and yeah, Nightfall just kept becoming an increasingly bigger problem. Because like I said, people keep spamming the takedown ROS bullshit. Um, and that's kind of what pushed us to have to take it down, because we're literally trying to minimize the drama going on here. It was really the chirp video that pushed us to take it down. Yeah, I that video should not be on YouTube. Um, it's not gonna come back up. Yeah, like, I don't even know what to say. No, it's not because of the song. I didn't even watch the whole video. It's just, it's slanderous in its entirety, and it's very, it contains a lot of disinformation. Should not be on YouTube. It's literally just his opinions of him yapping. Yeah, just yapping and yapping, bro. It's like, what the fuck? But the other thing is, in that chirp video, he showed a lot of gameplay of Nightfall, which I was able to use as evidence in our DMCA. Um, I guess I'll just wrap it up by saying our primary reasons for removing him were due to his lack of control over the moderators that he appointed, as well as following up on his concerning messages and interactions with members of the community in his past, history. With me personally, I don't know. Like I said, the messages that he sent in the past always irked me, but I never really looked at them. I just don't like the idea of having that kind of, stuff happening within our community. But yeah, besides that, I can't think of anything specifically that bothered me about him, just except for his behaviors. Oh no, it'll settle down. It it'll settle down. They're calling my DMCA false, but it's most definitely not a false DMCA. Roblox is not going to take it back. I have I said that because I don't want, again, I'm trying to minimize drama. I don't want people to think it was us, but I mean, it was us. I don't really care what people think. I do not want drama. I think it was a little rushed, but I would like to say, um, quite honestly, I'll say it's my fault. I did put Shadow and Geo in charge of, pretty much making the decisions, because the moderators have always been opposed to me making moderation decisions, so I just put it in the hands of Shadow and Geo. And I had them write up this statement, which is the statement that you guys saw in Discord announcements. Um, I'm pretty sure Shadow wrote that, but everybody thinks I wrote that, bro. Like I was not the one that wrote that. But it's just annoying. People are getting mad at me for saying that. I literally didn't even read it before I posted it because, like I said, I just put the moderators in full charge of this. But yeah, it was a bit rushed because pretty much everything was revolving around the timing of Shadow and Geo. Um, I don't completely blame them though, because part of this is it had to be rushed because the actions that we were trying to respond to were happening in real time. So we really needed to do something quickly, but maybe this was a big step. I have to ask them. I guess I could have added you, but I think there was concern about your activity, so they weren't sure if you'd be able to help. But again, it wasn't me, it was pretty much their decision. Oh, and the other thing is, I do remember now. I spoke to Felipe, um, prior to any of this to make sure he was on board. Um, so I guess that's probably why. Well, usually what happens is we go to you instead of going to Felipe, but this time I just straight up went to Felipe because he was aware of the situation, so I might as well just talk to him about it. But I do understand where you're coming from. I guess I could have went to both of you, but that probably would have been a Geo thing or a Shadow thing. I'm glad you're involved now, though. I hope that the community can get some good transparency here because, as we both know, that announcement is not very good at all. Um, I don't want people to think it was me, but it's not me. It's literally not me. The other thing I saw is people think I'm abusing my power. I'm not. I'm not just acting out of my own opinions here or whatever. All of my actions are being filtered through the rest of the moderation team as well as most of the time Felipe. I'm not just doing these things on my own. You used to get paid. As of right now, we're trying to invest in game development, so you're not getting paid. But hopefully, if any of this pays off and the game actually starts earning some more money, then you'll most definitely get paid. The issue is right now, ROS is only earning like 100K a month, which is really nothing. Robux. Yeah, well, we're not. Yeah, we're not earning all that. I wish we were. Yeah, we earn much below both minimum and living wage. Yeah. But anyways, besides all that, any more questions regarding the situation at hand? Yeah, I'm like absolutely disappointed that this guy got so far. Like everybody likes to downplay what he's saying, but I mean if you really look at it, it's not something that should be downplayed. It's
My conclusions. I think I should start this part of the video by firstly apologizing to the ROS community. A lot of you have been affected by this entire drama, and you probably shouldn't have. Furthermore, I think I'm also partly to blame, because I think if I would have been a bit stricter back then when the whole knife situation happened. Knife situation is something for a completely different video. I'm not going to get into it now because I have stuff to do. But yeah, I think if I would have been harsher, if I wouldn't have just said just 3 months probation, that's fine. I think I should have been harsher. I think maybe a demotion, maybe a few weeks of timeout for Zephyr to think about his actions. I think that would have been a good punishment, but then again, I didn't do that, and I only have myself to blame for that. And I also think if you listen to Hntr's side of the story, I think the whole knife situation sort of kicked this off. And yeah, I think I'm partly to blame. I can't change it now. I can only grow from my experiences. Sounds a bit like an apology video, even though this is just mainly supposed to clear up drama, but I think it's important to say sorry. I've made mistakes and I hope they don't happen again. Continuing on, my thoughts. I think the situation was handled very poorly. I think Zephyr should have been talked to. I don't think leaving him in the dark was the greatest of ideas. Also, leaving me in the dark wasn't great. I'm still sort of pissed off at that. It's not something I would have just wished to even just get a message about it, maybe a day before the whole thing started, to get my thoughts on it. I don't know why I wasn't informed. Maybe it was because of the 4 months MIA. Who knows? But yeah, that was a bit annoying. Furthermore, I think in the future, to prevent stuff like this, again, talking to me, I also think there should be a clearer divide between roles and what they do. I don't know how we're gonna manage that, but I think maybe just reducing how many roles there are would be great. Stuff like Hntr's creative director, I don't think you need a special role for that. Senior mods and senior mods I think is a bit silly, because senior mods now only barely have more power than other mods, and I don't think really they have any power above other mods. I think chat moderators and game moderators should be separate, and I mean, if you they are currently separate roles, yes, but I think we should have dedicated chat moderators, dedicated game moderators, and not just game moderators who also do chat and chat moderators who also do games. I think we should split them. Of course, that means we're going to need a lot more moderators, and I'm going to sit down with Gio and we're going to discuss how we're going to get these moderators. And yeah, I hope this clears up stuff. This took me shorter, I have to say, than I thought it would. And I'm pretty happy that it was shorter than I thought it was gonna be. But yeah, furthermore, like and subscribe. Leave what you thought about this in the comments. I don't really care. I might come back to YouTube in a few days. Maybe stuff. I'm gonna talk with Hunter about some stuff, some ideas I have to not only help help moderation, but I think also make the community and developer interactions better. I think there's still some line, maybe a person that how do I say this? A person that brings information to developers and brings information from the developers to the community. Currently, it feels sort of like there's a massive cliff between both, and I think, or I hope, we can find a bridge that makes it easier for both sides to communicate. But yeah, that's all. This was a very stressful video to make, especially this right now, what I'm recording, has taken me multiple attempts, and I'm not talking about maybe 3, 4, or 5. I'm talking about 20 or 30, mainly because there's a fly in my room, which has sneaked through my window and is now constantly harassing me every time I talk. I have been blessed. I don't know where it's gone. It hasn't appeared. Or at least I think it hasn't appeared, but yeah. See you guys whenever I decide to make another video, which might be in 4 months, who knows, maybe in a week.